Rick Buckler, dynamic drummer with the Jam, heroes of the punk generation. He was bitter when Paul Weller quit the band, and later took him to court over royalties. Rick Buckler, who has died following a short illness aged 69, was the drummer with the Jam, one of the most powerful forces of the punk generation. His propulsive, Marshall playing underpinned Paul Weller's explosive guitar and Bruce Foxton's punchy, melodic bass lines to perfection. Richard Paul Buckler was born on December 6, 1955 in Woking, Surrey. He attended his local Sheerwater Secondary School, where he loved carpentry and built his own drum kit, going on to spend a couple of years apprenticed to a cabinet maker. Grandfather clocks were especially enjoyable to work with, he recalled. He was part of a group of aspiring musicians at the school who gravitated round Paul Weller. In 1972 they coalesced as the Jam, with Weller on guitar and vocals and Bruce Foxton on bass. Managed by Weller's father John, they were initially a covers band playing Chuck Berry and Little Richard songs. But after Weller had an epiphany listening to The Who's debut album My Generation, they became increasingly drawn to the mod sound and aesthetic of the previous decade, wearing razor-sharp suits and playing Motown and Stax numbers. When punk exploded onto the scene in 1976, the Jam were immediately singled out as one of its prime exponents, and by May the following year they were supporting the Clash on tour and releasing their debut album In the City, which with its barbed lyrics and thrilling power chords articulated the frustrations of the young generation. Its title track became their first top 40 single, and while many punk bands remained on the fringes of the charts, the Jam were propelled into the pop stratosphere with such hits as Modern World, News of the World, and Down in the Tube Station at Midnight from their third album All Mod Cons, which was described by Charles Shaar Murray in the New Musical Express as one of the handful of truly essential rock albums of the last few years. The hits kept on coming: The Eaton Rifles, Going Underground, That's Entertainment, and A Town Called Malice on 45 RPM, Setting Suns and Sound Effects on 33. But in 1982, while they were in the studio recording new material, Weller dropped the bombshell that he was leaving, after a run of 18 hit singles, including 4 number ones, as well as 9 albums that had sold more than 10 million copies. Once the farewell tour was done, apart from one chance meeting many years later, Buckler and Weller did not speak again. The drummer was bemused and bitter at Weller's reasoning. He recalled, he said that he really felt like he was on a treadmill, and that he wanted to get off. But this was a treadmill that we wanted to get on. And of course, he re-signed with Polydor Records before the band had split and just carried on the same treadmill. Buckler formed a short-lived new outfit, Time UK, then joined forces with Foxton in a band called Sharp, who released one single. He went into production, running a studio in Islington, but in the 1990s he returned to his old love, restoring furniture. In 1994 he and Foxton published a joint memoir, Our Story. In 1996 Buckler and Foxton sued Paul and John Weller, alleging that at the band's inception they had agreed that all performing royalties and merchandising income would be split equally. The case was settled out of court, after which a spokesman for the pair said, "I think it would be fair to say that any friendship is now finished." In 2006 Buckler made a comeback after 12 years away from the business with a band named The Gift, and was soon joined by Foxton in a new outfit, From the Jam, playing all their old hits. In 2013 he became a management consultant for up-and-coming new acts, and in 2015 he published That's Entertainment, My Life in the Jam. He had latterly cancelled a speaking tour for health reasons. Rick Buckler married Leslie, with whom he had 2 children.